Hello world, good day and good game to you all. So today we're diving into part 2 of update 1.2.18 and yeah, there are still few buffs and nerfs to look into. We've got some really nice mutation cells waiting for the next update, some really weird weapon changes, tweaks to battlefield missions, a couple of hidden patch notes, and of course a look at Ice Maiden and some totally busted buffs. Let's start with Arche tuning. Now, if you watched part 1 already, then you already know the drop chances. In like 99% of cases, you're getting somewhere between 6 and 10 fission accelerants or genetic scissors, and in super rare cases it can spike up to 50. But no worries, you can hold 100 million of these like most of the other consumables, so no problem for your inventory. But when you use them, then you notice that the Arche tuning tree is not the same for everyone. It actually changes from Descendant to Descendant. That means the socket layout is totally different for each one. So when you're farming mutant cells, be careful, not all of them are compatible with every socket setup. Some just won't fit because they are malachite, rutile or something else. You've probably noticed that already. Now, speaking of mutant cells, there are like 27 of them right now that can go into those Arche tuning sockets, but apparently 9 more are already in development. And those are tailored for very specific playstyles like Descendants that rely heavily on weapons, or multi-hit builds, or Descendants with big shields. So yeah, development never stops, changes are prepared and future content is on the way. I'm probably doing a separate video of all the things that are prepared but will come in some later update. When the stats are public, then we'll go through each one piece by piece. Okay, now let's switch over to weapons. First, multi-hit chance. It used to be possible to push that thing up to 400%. And after the update it seems kept at 250%, which sounds like a nerf. But it is a limit for future builds, I guess, because right now we can get to numbers like 236% multi-hit chance. This really hits certain weapons like assault rifles, Ancient Knight and Divine Punishment. They are still sitting comfortably above 230%, but if we ever get mutant cells that boost multi-hit, you're hitting that limit fast. So watch out for that limit in your future builds. More about weapons and changes not mentioned in the patch notes, like restored Relic. The secondary explosions now have a 1 meter radius, we had that in part 1, but they got a lifetime now that is damn small. Doesn't matter much at close range, but long distance? Yeah, you notice it. Look how they don't even arrive at the floor here. I see no explosions. Same thing happened to Hammer and Anvil. That one had no projectile lifespan before in the stats. Now it shows that the gyrojet rounds explode after 0.3 seconds, mid-air, which it could do before, but now you have a number on it, and with the 100% weapon damage for the explosion, I surely want to test shooting weak points with that from a distance. A sniper shotgun. That's so stupid. Final masterpiece got a transparency tweak too. The whole puddle of indulgence effect now shows it lasts 10 seconds and ticks every second. That info wasn't visible before, and apparently that duration and the radius don't scale with modules or inversion reinforcements or anything. So what you see is what you get here too. Now I want to go back in time and see how long the puddles lasted there and how often the damage tick was before the update. Battlefields next, mission tweaks all over the place. Let's look at a popular farming spot in Kingston, the Kingston communications repeater. That one had a comfy shortcut before, just jump up to the ceiling, wait for the enemies and mission is done. But not anymore. They added a waypoint that you can no longer skip. You can't cheese it anymore, you gotta walk the long way. Standing right next to the repeater doesn't even start the mission, so yeah, that mission is officially slower now. Same for the Vulgus Field Generator mission, some extra enemy spawns but additional steps to take. It's slower now too, but hopefully the few more enemies bring more loot. As you may know, last year I started the farming mission spreadsheet and there are more missions slightly changed, enough that I had to update my farming sheet. And yes, I'm still updating that list every patch, every single mission, so all other changes you find in those numbers. You find the link in the description below. Now to the Sigma sector, let's talk about the Nano compound drops. You get 6,000 just from a run, and then you've got bosses that drop between 10 and 20,000 more. And in crazy rare cases, 100,000 to 200,000 Nano compound stack can be dropped. The drop rate seems to be like 2.5% to 5% to get the crazy amounts of Nano compounds. Same numbers for quantum crystals, which can drop too. Those two materials doesn't even block each other, they can drop both. So if you're doing these runs, bring components that boost consumable drop rate, you squeeze out an extra 19% on top of that. That's very juicy. Now let's go into intercept battles. A small hint on ammo drops in the Abyss boss fights. Minions now drop double the ammo, except for high power rounds, for whatever reason. Mocking the big guns, I guess. But honestly, you won't notice, bosses still die in like 20 seconds, most of us never even see the difference. So the Ice Maiden lives in the Abyss right now. We already looked at her in the last video, but there's more. First, she got this Void Reflux phase, or Rage mode if you prefer. When that triggers, her attack stat jumps by 170%. Defense goes crazy with a 600% multiplier, and chill resistance gets a 500% multiplier. But everything else seems to stay about the same, so still very vulnerable to fire. And the big news about her, she buffs you. She buffs you hard. She begs you to kill her. She has this weird thing called Recharge Willpower. You destroy one weak point and your base skill power jumps by 10 times, or 100% more base skill power. Then each extra waypoint destroyed adds another 200% on top of that. That stacks 3 times. For example, shooting 3 weak points, you get 1400 base skill power, which is 14 times the damage as shown here. Absolutely insane, and perhaps the only way to kill her fast. So what are the best weak points? Try the core cap. It only has like 1.8 million HP or 1.9, so it will break after dealing 1.8 million damage to the core cap. Below is the main core with just over 3.2 million HP. The knees are the same, 3.2 million. Shoulders are stronger with 6.5 million HP, but they are super easy to hit. Sensors, they are low with 1.4 million HP, but very tiny and annoying when she moves her head too much. Honestly, best move is break both knees first, or her calves, then whatever is in reach. Shoulders are easy to hit, or the core when she pauses. Because if you deal enough damage, then she takes a break. Like literally 10 seconds of doing nothing after a weak point break, for example, as shown here. Or 10 seconds pause when she exits rage mode. Or you burst hard and a lot of damage, then she takes a deep breath for 7 seconds. That's your window. That's where breaking the other weak points can happen. Now some overlacing. You can now access your presets from the ring menu, so if you're about to hop into another mission and want to swap builds fast, that's your shortcut. Patch notes told you about the Arche tuning shortcut, but not this little helpful thingy. Also in some future update we may be able to disallow the player inspection. I do not know why this is not in the update already, because there are always people who don't want to show what they have. This may come in some update if enough people complain, I guess. Right now this option is hidden. And last but not least, the Void Erosion medals. You've seen the announcement for the Ingress Prime Challenger medal, right? Well, there might be 3 more on the way. Depending on how well you place in the leaderboard, you may get a different medal for being in the highest superb, well and commendably range of the leaderboard. Kinda vague, might be next season or maybe sooner, we will see. So yeah, that's all for now. Part 1 and Part 2 covered some of the hidden changes. I hope those drop rates, numbers on Ice Maiden and changes to missions help you with your grind. Let me know if you want a third video with all the changes that may come in the next updates. Until then, have fun farming Sigma Sector and Ice Maiden. I see you on the battlefield. Good luck, goodbye.